3 nights on a train all the way from Sydney to Perth. The Indian Pacific, famously known as the Australia's most luxurious train, runs between Sydney and Perth that offers the experience beyond a train commute. This was our journey experience on this train. We started the journey from Sydney side that starts on a Wednesday afternoon. When the day we were most eagerly looking forward to had arrived, we reached Central Station. The check-in counters are clearly visible with the Indian Pacific flags and the nameplates everywhere. The check-in opens 2 hours prior to the departure time. Post completing check-in formalities, we were guided towards the lounge area, which was at a walkable distance on the other side of the Central Station. Here is how the lounge looked, where people could spend time and have some refreshments until boarding. All the snacks were being served at the table, so we didn't really have to move to get anything. After the initial refreshment and meeting some of our co-passengers, we walked back to the station when it was time to board. So the staff were already waiting with the seat allocation details. And here we enter into our room. This will be our home for next 3 days. Let me give a quick tour of the room. A comfortable seat with some cushions. A small table with water bottle and all the details about our meal times, off-train excursions, etc. Cabin lights and night light switches are located near the door. Just above the seat, there's a button to call staff for assistance. To the other side, there's a coat hanger and also a hairdryer. Just below that, there's a safe to keep our valuables. Besides that, there's a mirror, a radio station, and some more switches for the lights and bathroom. Below that, there's also a waste bin. Right next to that is a bathroom, which is a true luxury to have your own bathroom while traveling. A small one, yet comfortable to use without any issues, along with hot running water all the time. All the amenities like soaps, towels and all were provided. There's a shower curtain to avoid the water spills all around. There are also fresh bath towels stored here. So that's how the gold class room looked. Towards the end of every carriage, there's a coffee station which we can use to get our own refreshment. And for about every 3 to 4 carriages, there's a lounge car where you'll find most of the passengers gathering. Some scheduled events like live music and games will be conducted there, and the rest of the time it's a great place for socializing. The lounge also offers a great variety of drinks, and yes, for a better coffee, lounge is the place to go. It's the time for our very first meal on board. Talking about the dining, every meal starts with bread and butter. From entree, my partner opted to have grilled saltbush crusted kangaroo loin served on soba noodles with soy and sesame seed dressing. I had puss and galantine, which is grilled chicken with leek puree, endive and bean and radish salad. For mains, we both found grilled Pacific Ocean swordfish an interesting one in a green lemon myrtle curry sauce, Asian greens, pickled daikon and cucumber salad with jasmine rice. The finished plate proves the delicacy of the food. For desserts, we made the different choice again. A banoffee pie with vanilla bean ice cream and fresh blueberries. Apple tart tartine, a tart made of apple and wild Monterey's berry with double cream served super hot. When we returned from our dinner, the room was made ready for the night. The beds were very comfortable to sleep with sufficient length. However, sitting on the seats is really difficult for those who are tall. So once the beds were made, the only option was to lie down as we couldn't sit. Also, the track between Sydney and Adelaide is extremely bouncy and no one could sleep the whole night. So if anyone is choosing to travel just between Sydney and Adelaide, let me warn you, you will have no sleep the whole night. Our day 2 started pretty early as we had our first excursion in Broken Hill. While the maintenance work took place, we moved towards the Mining Union Hall to know about the history of the mining and labor union. There was a small play conducted to depict the formation of employee union, followed by some refreshments.
All of those in favour of strike action to continue, please raise your hand.
Once we learned about the union formation, we were going to the mining site. Looking at the streets, I noticed that the architecture still hasn't changed and is giving that vintage vibe. I love watching these classics. That's the other group from our train doing the walking tour. We have now reached the mining site and got to face the harsh reality. That's the memorial built in the name of all those who lost their lives. Let me show you the length of this luxurious train. And that's how long our Indian Pacific train is, and this is the only place from where we can see the entire train. The carriages with a full-length window are actually the lounges for the premium class sections. By the way, are you planning to board this train anytime soon? After returning from our first excursion, it was time for our first breakfast on board, starting with tea and some bread and butter. We had opted full breakfast and artisan chorizo. Here is a quick tour of Queen Adelaide restaurant, which I had captured just before the lunchtime. Passengers are assigned with different meal timings at the time of boarding and are entered into the restaurant in batches. Hence, usually the restaurant is occupied. You get a chance to share the table with new people each time, and with everybody trying to get to know each other, the dining hall gets very loud and noisy. For lunch, entree was artisan lemon myrtle bread and butter. We had Adelaide Plains chicken served with a pearl couscous salad of pistachio, rocket and currants dressed with yogurt and mint. And the other one was grape pickers lunch of pork and kumquat pie, glazed ham, cheddar served with Adelaide Hills heritage apple salad. And finished our lunch with caramelized hazelnut chocolate tart and coconut and raspberry ice cream. By about evening, we reached Adelaide, where some passengers departed and new people joined. Until the boarding of those new people was taken care of, we were roaming around the Adelaide city. We went to the Mount Lofty Summit Place for a beautiful sunset. Prior to the dinner of that night, we had a small cheese testing event, after which we walked towards the German restaurant. Entree was a grazing plate of double smoked leg ham, skara salami, smoked salmon, aged cheddar cheese served with a German pretzel. As it was a German place, decided to go with the German sausages for mains, which was served with mashed potato and was actually a disappointment. Grilled pork chop, on the other hand, was very good. Best experience was the classic German music that lifted up everyone's mood. For dessert, there was no option to choose. It was warm apple strudel. To be honest, most of the co-passengers were disappointed with the dinner experience here. Now that the tracks were fine from Adelaide, almost everyone had a sound sleep as nobody could get sleep the previous night. And in the morning, we woke up to this beautiful sunrise. Time for breakfast, which started with yogurt parfait, and from the mains we had smoked ham frittata and full breakfast. We were in the lounge for most of the time when we were not having meals. Such a good socializing time where we played some cards, various games, read books, and sometimes just sit and enjoy the drink. Every lounge car has a map that tells us the location of the train. And now we are on the historic location of Nullarbor, which is world's longest stretch of straight track covering about 478 kilometers long. Nullarbor, whose literal translation is no tree. This area is a very flat surface with almost no trace of tree. While talking to some of the co-passengers, I found out that the soil has too much salt deposit, making it not suitable for any vegetation. I guess that's the reason why this is not civilized yet. After the long stretch, we are now in another almost unknown place called Cook, whose population is just 4 people. Spend some time around this place. For the current population here, I think the place is very well built. We could find a post office, a school, a club, which I guess are not open anymore. It was the time for lunch and we had it at this quiet place of Cook. So I guess I can now say that we once had lunch at Cook. Lunch options were simple and everybody was intrigued by looking at camel curry in the menu. I must say it was super tasty. However, I think the portion size could be a bit bigger as there was no entree here. I think it was a good decision to go with salted caramel macadamia nut ice cream with a generous portion because the other options were strawberries and cream, which would have left us not so full till the next meal. The scheduled dinner on this day was supposed to be outdoors and most of them were looking forward to. There was supposed to be a live music alongside the campfire. Unfortunately, due to rains, it was not possible. A little disappointed, we had our dinner on our usual dining hall on the train. So to talk about the dinner menu, after the bread, we had duck and green peppercorn pate and beetroot tortellini for entree, roasted pork tenderloin with native herb chimichurri with a sweet and sour caponata, saltbush, herb potatoes and seasoned greens. For dessert, we had ginger and pear pudding served with vanilla bean ice cream and chocolate praline mousse served with an apricot dome and red dessert dust to end the day with. The next morning breakfast again started with some tea and bircher muesli. This day we went with full breakfast as we were in the first batch for breakfast and last batch for lunch. Have you ever boarded this train? How was your experience and what was your most favorite bit in this whole journey? Just being on the train with few meals may not sound interesting, but personally we never really realized how quickly the days passed by. And here is the lounge storage with lots and lots of drinks. I'd like to call out Carmine, Amy Rose, Makati, Hideka and Robin for their wonderful service. And for the final meal on board, we had grilled Fremantle jawfish fillet served with crushed potato pea puree and tartar sauce, and chicken Caesar salad served with croutons, Fremantle smoked sardines, crisp prosciutto, poached egg and a truffle hill aioli. Baked chocolate and brownies with blood orange latte, and a fruit platter with green apple sorbet. And here is the one final live music before we reach the destination. We were almost nearing to the Perth city. The most awaited journey was coming to an end. We were all strangers when we boarded the train, and now it was the time to depart. Generations far apart were traveling together, and yet we never felt that gap. It was really fun and entertaining all the way till Perth that we did not even realize how quickly we were at the destination. That comes to an end of the video. We will soon be catching you with our experience in and around Perth. Until we post again, take care.